Alright guys, this is going to be a quick one today. I just want to show you some tricks that I figured out for attaching shot to your rig when you're going float fishing for trout and salmon especially. And also not only putting them on, but taking them off and cleaning them up so you can reuse them so they won't nick your line. So I got my trusty blue line today. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to end up turning the camera around and doing some close-ups here too, but this is going to be where the hook is going to be on our rig here, and this is going up to our rod. We're just pretending here. Normally what I'm fishing right now is just regular 6-pound mono. I've been doing a lot of float and jig fishing, so I haven't even been using any fluoro. So basically just going 6-pound mono straight to my jig, which would be here. If you like to use fluoro, basically here you just have a little micro swivel, and then you'd have your 6-pound fluoro to whatever your jig or bait is going to be. So the first thing is when you start off, I've mostly been using these Sheffield floats, these clear casting floats, and these come with 2 little pieces of shrink tubing to attach to your line. There is a little hole in the bottom stem of these floats, and you can run your line through that. I haven't been doing that. I haven't had a problem with them coming off. So basically I've just been using the shrink tubing that comes with the float to attach it right to the line. When you start your rig, first thing you have to do is slide your shrink tube up the line. So I got a piece of pink here that's going to go on first, because once you get your shot on, you can't get these little pieces of shrink tube up your line, so you gotta slide those on first. The next thing you want to do is we're going to attach our shot, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a couple SGs, it's a SG size shot on, and that's usually what I'm fishing under my float, just to cock my float. The idea is you don't really want to like crunch these things down on your line really hard, because if you do, then they're going to damage your line even more, and you don't really need them on that well. You just need them to hold fast to the line, and we want them to slide, because that's helpful when you're rigging. So we got our first SG shot on here. I'm going to put a second one on right above that, so we'll have 2 there. And again, just pinch it on lightly there, don't go crazy with it. And then below that, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to put a little BB shot down below. Sometimes if I'm fishing deeper holes, even with the float and jig setup, I'll put a smaller shot further down the line just to help drop my jig a little faster into the hole. So again, we're gonna pinch that down. So now we got 2 SGs and a BB on there, and so now what you've done is you've attached your shot, but it is actually pinching the line at this point. So what you want to do is slide your shot up the line a ways, and what we're going to end up doing is discarding this lower section where we attached our shot, because as you slide your shot up the line, it's going to establish a groove in the shot as well. So the further you slide it up the line, the less damage that shot's doing to your line. So we're going to slide it up. See, as I go, it's getting easier to slide. So I'm going to slide it up the line a couple feet here, and do the same thing with this one. Slide it up. And we'll take our BB here, same thing, slide it up. And now, where we first attach the shot, this lower portion of the line is going to be the portion that's damaged. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut that right off. Get rid of that. And now you have your shot up the line with the groove established. So now you can slide these up and down the line freely. You know, sometimes you'll get to a deeper hole and you'll have to slide your shot way up, or a shallower hole, vice versa. We have our shot on here and we have our 2 pieces of shrink tube. So we're gonna go ahead and just attach our clear casting float here. That top surgical tube just goes over the top stem. And we got a clear piece, it's gonna go over the bottom stem. Pull the slack out. And there you go. You're all ready to rock. Just got to attach your jig or bait at the bottom. And I'm going to spin the camera around here, and I'm going to show you what to do to get these guys off, because these aren't the old school split shot with the little tab on the back where you can remove them. A lot of times, you know, you end up you snag up into something, or you get a fish that beats up your line, and you end up re-rigging. And the shot are actually really expensive, especially in New York here. You can't use lead shot anymore. So these are all made from, I think, probably tungsten or bismuth or something like that, and they're expensive. So it's helpful to be able to reuse them. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pretend that we just caught a monster steelhead here and beat our line all up. And we're going to pull these shot off so we can reuse them. So we'll go ahead and get rid of our float here. And best way I figured out how to do this is basically just take just a standard screwdriver, and we're going to use the screwdriver to pop these shot back open. Basically, we're going to take our screwdriver and we're just going to lay it right into the groove of that shot and just lightly tap it, and that's going to open that shot up. Do the same thing with this one. Just lightly tap it. And what that's going to do is that's going to open that shot up enough so you can just pop it right off the line. So there's our 2 shot. So now the only thing you have to look for is, once the shot are off the line, that you just didn't nick the shot at all with the screwdriver when you tapped it in there to open it back up. So usually what I do, this is just a little piece of 180 grit sandpaper, and I'll just run it through that shot a little bit. I just folded it over here and just gonna pass it through that shot a few times to make sure that it's nice and smooth. And you can feel it if there's a nick in there. You'll feel it catch a little bit, and that'll smooth it right out. So that one's all ready to reuse. Do the same thing with this one. I was pretty careful, so I didn't really nick these, but just want to make sure you don't have any sharp edges, obviously. Nothing that's going to damage your line and end up costing you a fish later down the road. So just a few passes with some fine sandpaper, and you're ready to go. So I hope you found this useful, guys. These are all ready to go back in the container, and I've used this technique on everything from the little number 4s all the way up to the SG. And it seems to work really well. Haven't had any issues. So hopefully this will save you guys some money. These things aren't cheap, so if you can reuse them, it's a good thing.